Last yeah. Good morning. Hi, good morning. Hello.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, I'm going to just quickly restart. So just stay online and we're going to start the session. Everyone is able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Good stuff. So is everybody able to see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Good stuff. So let's start the session. Sorry for the confusion yesterday because we had an inspection and that did not finish till about 5:40 in the evening. So the session did not happen, but today we're going to try and cover the last learning outcome of this particular unit, which is how businesses operate, and that would help us complete the first unit. The spreadsheet as well. Sorry for the confusion yesterday because we had an inspection and that did not finish till about 5:40 in the evening. So
Sorry guys, can you close your microphones because we can't hear the. Sorry, sir, we cannot hear you proper.
okay, give me 1 second. Let me just get everyone muted. Okay. So what we've done so far is we've covered, some of these learning outcomes as we've discussed. And today we are looking at covering the last learning outcome, which is understand the importance of customer service to organizational success. So what we're going to do today is, if I quickly look at, discussing what we've done so far, we started off with this unit, which is an important unit for business to understand how businesses operate. We understood marketplace environment, business environment, types of businesses, ownership of businesses, then went into understanding accounting, how different data can be created from key accounting statements like balance sheet, profit and loss account, expense statement, caps. Then we went into understanding what is teams are formed, why your managers supposed put together a team at the office and ask you to work within teams in order to get bigger things done. So we understood the team building model of Tuckman by Dr. Belbin, and they allowed us to understand how team formation happens. And when team members or people or employees and staff, whichever way you call it, in the organization go about becoming a part of team, what kind of roles they pick up and how they work. Then also looked at understanding the main of how motivates employees when they are basically looking at, giving work. So motivational theories, understanding, leadership styles, that is what at basically understanding the role of HR day before yesterday. So role of HR was more to do with the fact that we discussed, the main functions of human resources department. That means people who work within HR, what kind of role they play, things like recruitment and selection. If you recall, we discussed training and development, we discussed unions and, redundancies. We also discussed the compliance with legislation and law, which is required to be done when, people in HR essentially look at, managing and providing support for human resources. Now, today, the learning outcome is going to be focused on understanding the importance of customer service. Why is it very important, to have customer service, and why this customer service, and how it is provided, and why is it very important in the organizations for them to get business. So if you are a small business like a cleaning business, a local grocery store, or a news agent shop, or if you work within an organization which sells products and services to its customers, why is it important for them to provide good customer service? And what are the things which are covered in customer services, what we will look at. So let me look at going into the presentation that we want to discuss this particular learning outcome with. And in this particular presentation, we are going to discuss a couple of things which are going to be related to understanding customer service. Why is it important? We will also look at understanding how staff in the organization provide this service to the consumers or customers. Why do we need to profile the customers when we talk about, talking about demographics in terms of, what the background is, where they come from, what is their culture. We also look at understanding what is the pay or, the, let's say the remuneration they get, and also looking at understanding in terms of why customers looking at buying, they come back and buy from you again. So how do they do repeat purchases? This is what we will look at understanding. So here, the main idea of reading this particular last learning outcome is to know about customers, which businesses serve. So if you run a business, if you work in an organization, you are providing some services to customers. And these services which are being provided because of the fact that the company's goods and products which they produce or make are essentially being sold off to customers. And that is where this is required. So when we talk about customer and customers in detail, we'll be looking at covering things like what is customer service, what is the impact of customer service on business, why customers come back and do repeat purchases. Sometimes you like a shop, you like a product, you've dealt with somebody who you like, and there is where you go back to them and say, okay, no, I want to buy it from him only because we receive good service from customers, from the salesperson. And that is where it looks at that you are interested in getting some of these things from that store or that particular shop because you liked the way you were served, you liked the way they dealt with you and provided the information. So we'll understand all these things in terms of, this particular learning outcome. Now, let's look at understanding some key things in terms of how do we define what is, customer service in general. So when we talk about customer service, we talk about, assistance and advice that you normally provide to the company. And when you go into a store, if you imagine when you are going into a store, what happens is that at some stage, if you want to buy a washing machine, say, for example, or if you want to buy a television, or if you want to buy, say, for example, something from the store, what tends to happen is if you need assistance, that means sometimes you need to ask questions about, what it is and how does it work, or what are the benefits or features of the product. Then in those cases, what you do is you basically call somebody. Since those cases provides you this assistance or advice in terms of this is what the product is, this is the information about it, this is how it works, this is what the basic things are, and this is how you would use it, would be all a part of your customer service. Now, sometimes you also receive service which is after you bought the product. That means you have a warranty on the product. So when you have warranty on the product, what you generally see is that when you buy the product, at some stage, if anything goes faulty, then what happens is at some point in time, you also look at, calling the company to find out what is the guarantee and warranty on it. And then on the basis of that, they also provide you what is called the after sales service. So for example, your washing machine is broken down, but it's under warranty for 12 months. What will happen is you book a call, the customer service team or the sales service team on the other side of the company or the business will take a call. And what they would do then is obviously book an engineer who will come down and look at the machine in terms of why it is broken down. So sometimes customer service is also termed as what is called after sales service, because some of the products, like, when you buy high value items, you buy a car, you buy a house, you buy, say, for example, a TV, a washing machine, a microwave, some of these products will have warranties, and these warranties would require essentially that the company provides you service after the sale has also been done, because the product comes with, some sort of guarantee, and that requires after sales service. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, good stuff. So
Yes, yes.
basically, what I want to do is also want to quickly, share a small video that we want to watch in terms of understanding, how, customer service actually works. So let's look at a very small video.
Service. As consumers, it makes us feel good. So much so, consumers now rate customer service as the most important factor when deciding to do business with a company. This means the traditional competitive advantages such as...
So are you able to see this video as well? Is everyone able to hear the video and see the video?
Just
Yes.
hear.
Okay. Price, location, and product are rapidly disappearing. In the technological era, customer service is king. Sad to say, but when it comes to customer service, we've all had a bad experience, and news of bad customer service reaches more than twice as many ears as praise for good customer service. So it's really important to understand and avoid certain behaviours that make our customers angry. In a recent survey, 57% of customers expressed frustration that the company was not available when needed. 56% of customers felt that customer service is still too slow. And 42% of customers felt that they have to speak to multiple agents before their problem is resolved. 34% of customers feel like just another number and the service they receive is too impersonal, with 24% of consumers feeling they know more about the product than the agent they were speaking to. And a rapidly growing percentage of customers are dissatisfied with poor website design and online availability. The consequences of getting customer service wrong can be very damaging. 49% of customers have reported with companies because of bad customer service. Nobody wants to work for a failing business, and even more worse, if the trend continues, there might
So what you can see at the moment is, if I just share this video screen again, I know some of you might not have been able to see this. So let me start from the beginning. I want you to see, we will not go through the full video, which is about 4 minutes, but we'll look at some of the important bits that we will discuss as we go along.
We all love to receive great customer service. As consumers, it makes us feel good.
So now is everyone able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So let me play this.
So much so, consumers now rate customer service as the most important factor when deciding to do business with the company. This means the traditional competitive advantages such as price, location, and product are rapidly disappearing. In the technological era, customer service is key. Sad to say, but when it comes to customer service, we've all had a bad experience, and news of bad customer service reaches more than twice as many ears as praise for good customer service. So it's really important to understand and avoid certain behaviours that make our customers angry. In a recent survey, 57% of customers expressed frustration that the company was not available when needed. 56% of customers felt that customer service is still too slow. And 42% of customers felt that they have to speak to multiple agents before their problem is resolved. 34% of customers feel like just another number and the service they receive is too.
So as you can see, I'll not play the full video, but as you can see, what is happening here is that it is showing the importance of why companies need to take customer service very seriously, because it is a case wherein either the company can lose customers. If they lose customers, they lose business. So that means it can have a dent on the turnover of the company, because if it's bad service, that would mean that the business might not do well. And in some cases, what you will also see is that because the response, to these, say for example, response to the problem or the issue by the company is slow.
I'm not hearing you well.
Let me just look at, getting the mics muted at everyone's end. Okay. Okay. So basically what then happens in this case is, when you look at, if the company does not receive, the customer who's basically, bought a product, if they don't receive good service after sales, or if there's a problem and the company is not able to respond to it quickly, then they lose the business. For example, if you have a boiler in your house and that boiler is insured with British Gas, if the boiler breaks down and there is no heating and hot water in your house, and they take hours and days, 2-3 days to come to respond, then what will happen is you're not going to be happy with British Gas, because you are without gas, you're without hot water, and obviously without heating. So in some cases, you would see that customer service and response time, which the company takes to respond to the problem or the issue which the customer is facing, becomes very important. And this allows the company to retain business. That means if you're not happy with British Gas, what will happen is at some stage you will move to a different provider, and that would mean the British Gas as a company, as a business, would lose you as a customer. And the reason why they've lost you as a customer is because they've not been able to respond to your need or the issue at the time it was required. So they have certain standard level agreements, which are called SLA, but if they are not able to respond in 2 hours or 3 hours, which has been provided. Now, there are lots of different things that we need to look at in customer service, but generally there are 4 principles which are acceptable when we talk about this as a whole. Now, one of the first principles is that in order for a company to provide good service, they need to be looking at making sure that they have enough people who are able to understand the product and provide information about that product to the customer. Companies also look at, putting information on the website. They also create manuals. When you buy a new product, you will get a new manual for the product, which will be a user manual, and that would allow you to, obviously go through the features which which say, for example, the product provides. And those are also important because this allows the customers to read through for additional information. The other things that you will also look at in terms of principles will be that you would generally see that when this particular service is to be provided, the company has to have consistency and compassion. They should be able to understand customers' viewpoint, the problem the customer is facing, the issue which has been raised, and that should allow them to respond in a very consistent manner. That means they can offer the same solution to so many different customers. If they have the same problem, there has to be some sort of a consistency. That means same service, same level of service being provided to the customer. Now, the other thing that we also look at is that they should be able to resolve the service issue. So if you had a problem with the boiler breaking down, at the end of the day, British Gas, when they come in and visit, they should be able to fix your problem in terms of so that it doesn't occur again. If you have a problem and if that issue is fixed, that means the company is looking at closing the loop, which means they are looking at basically ensuring that you are getting that service. The heating is up, the hot water is up, and you're running, and you're able to basically important. Now, when we talk about different ways in which companies provide customer services, they can be done through various ways. How do you today look at companies providing customer service? Anybody? So, for example, if your mobile phone breaks down or your screen of your mobile phone cracks, you take it to the shop. How do you receive the service? Has anybody faced any such problem? That means you bought something from the market or from a shop, and thing is broken down or is not working, and you have to report it to get it fixed. How do you go about doing it in that context?
Contact them or send them email. The first step, contact
very
them.
Good. Very good. So one of the ways you can get in touch and raise that issue with your company or the company which is providing you the product is by sending them an email. Do we make a phone call as well? Has somebody faced an issue or a problem and made a phone call?
We can do
so you can make a phone call. Absolutely. And then sometimes what you have to do is when you make a phone call, you get in touch with the contact center or the customer services through the call center. They ask you about, okay, what is the product? When did you buy it? They ask for some information to look for that and your information on their database so they can relate what product, what it, when did you buy it? Is it still in a warranty? They go through those basic questions as well, isn't it? And then they also ask you what the problem is. And they give you some sort of a response time that, okay, if this is a problem, we'll send an engineer out, or you need to bring this to the shop. And this is the earliest that we can solve or, have a look at the product. So they try and give you a solution in terms of how they will go about resolving this particular problem or issue that you're having in terms of breakdown with your phone. Now, if we look at you going to, for example, a shop, sometimes you go and meet the person, you do an eye-to-eye contact, you speak to the customer, you obviously understand the problem. Sometimes you would see the customer service person is moving their head up and down to say, okay, I understand. They ask you some other questions about how did this happen, or, what was the problem? Was it happening in the past? They'll ask you some questions to understand and come to a fix that why this problem occurred. Now, sometimes you do this customer service part of it on the phone. And on the phone, when it is done, generally you would basically ring them up and you have some details ready in terms of the product, your order number, the model of the product which is having a problem, and then your address and other things so that the engineer can visit you on site. Now, if you imagine if it is a business or an organization, for example, you have a photocopier in the office and the photocopier machine breaks down, customers in this provided by one business to another business, because it's a business customer, is the service that they would provide be related to providing, business to business. So customer service can be from one company or business to another customer, which is basically to consumers who bought the product directly. It could also be from one business to another business, and they have a number of PCs. One of the PC breaks down, you call the PC company. So the company, in this case, one company which is selling the product, is also providing the service to another company in order to look at, solving that problem. Now, when we look at some of the key criteria in terms of, what could be the impact of bad customer service on the business. Now, one part is that you buy something, say, for example, you buy a few things, say you buy a mobile phone cover and you buy it from a shop, the cover costs you £10, you use it for a month or so, and after that you see the color of the cover, or, the cover has a bit of a wear and tear. Now, you're not too fussed, it's not something that you will go back to the shop and say, okay, I bought this cover, which was in leather, but as you can see, the leather has got, is not good quality, and it is basically fading and it's leaving, marks on the phone and things like that. So sometimes when you buy products, what you buy is you buy products which have no warranty or they have no after sales service. But in most cases, when you buy products which are going to be high value items, that means expensive products. You buy a good watch, you buy, say, for example, a Hoover for your house, you buy a microwave, you end up buying a car. What you expect is that because you're paying a high value for buying that product, you're expecting that you'll also receive good customer service. So you do your own search in the back. The company is okay. The shop that I'm buying from has a bit of a reputation, and you go through reading the reviews on the to see what other customers who bought products from the shop or have bought service or taken out service, some sort of a service from the shop. Have they been satisfied with the way that they've been sold and given the service? And you read the reviews on the website, isn't it? You go and read reviews on Trustpilot, FIFO, some of the other sites, and see whether they are reliable enough to, get my business. So in some cases, you would see is that when you are doing this research, your product that you're buying or the services that you're getting are going to be coming from a reputable business, and you want to check their background, their reputation, their ability to be able to service and give you service at a later stage once the product has been bought. Now, if you look at the reverse side, this is from a customer perspective, from you and me. If I have to buy something, we will look at it from this point. But if you look at it from a company perspective, the company which is selling you these goods and services, you would generally see that in this case, what will happen is the company would want you to come back and get more products from them. They would want to get more business from you, which is what we call repeat business. Now, in order for the company to get repeat business, they have to satisfy or meet some of your requirements. What could be those requirements? Anybody? In terms, if you go and buy something from a shop and you go and buy it from that shop again, why do you think you go and buy the same product from that shop only and not go to a different place? Any idea? And what comes to your mind when you're going to, buy some of the products and you buy it again, and you only go to that shop because you feel, you get good service, you feel you get looked after, you feel that, the person on the other side of the desk is very responsive. They are, able to explain and answer your questions. They are patient. They listen to you. And obviously, at some stage, you also decide that, okay, the prices at which they are selling, they are competitive. They are not charging you a very high premium, or in some cases, you feel that the product which is being sold or the service that you're getting is worth its value. It's worth the money. Now, if you take out a warranty, for example, on your car, you get it serviced every year. Or when I give you an example of a boiler from British Gas, some customers have what is called a direct debit, so that they get the service every month. So they have an annual maintenance contract, AMC. And that means that they sign a contract, you have a 12 months contract, 18 months warranty contract, and you pay through direct debit. And essentially, if anything is to happen at any given point in time, 24/7, you will have a British Gas engineer who will come down and, fix the problem in 2 hours time. So why you go about doing all this research is to ensure that, at some stage, you are wanting to be sure that the service that I'm going to get from the company that I'm going to get has the ability to be able to, basically come to my rescue if I have, any problem with the product. Now, when we talk about this particular aspect of the company considering all this, we look at companies or businesses, what they get into is what is called customer segmentation. And the reason why they look at doing customer segmentation is that they want to understand what could be the requirements of the customer. Where are you coming from? What is your background? And, in terms of what could be the basic requirements that you would have as a customer when they are trying to provide these services to you. So customer segmentation can be done in various ways. It's basically a process through which you divide the customer base individuals that are similar in a specific way. They are of certain things like age, basically demographics. So what you're able to do is basically segment it on the basis of age, sex, religion, gender, your interests, what are your spending habits, how much do you earn. And this part of the process is quite important because of the fact that the company wants to know and have information about you and your background in terms of how you go about, essentially going about and essentially, look at the process through which you actually purchase the products. So this becomes very important for the organization because they want to look at serving those customers. Now, sometimes you see that companies, would only have showrooms. Say, for example, if I look at Porsche or if I look at Ferrari, if I look at Lamborghini. Now, when you look at these dealerships, they are present in certain areas in the city. The reason why they are present in certain areas in the city is because they feel that here the customers have the ability to be able to buy the cars because they have the income and the capacity or the financial status to be able to buy the car or buy the product. So when we talk about this kind of a segmentation in terms of customers, what we want to be able to do is basically understand that what would be the best ways through which we can actually market the product to various consumers in the market. So when we talk about dividing the customers into different types, basis their age, habit, buying, income, what we are doing is we are doing segmentation. Now there are four types of basic segmentation that you want to understand more and more about your customer so that you can give them the right kind of product they need when they are buying, and you can meet their needs and requirements by pitching or by providing that good product or service. Now, the segmentation can be done in 4 different ways. One is geographic segmentation, that you look at country, city. Like when we talk about segmentation, London is a bigger market than Manchester because it's more populated. There are more, people living in the London borough, and you would generally see that because of the number of people being 14, 15 million as compared to Manchester or Greater Manchester, they are able to attract and serve more customers. So when we look at segmenting customers on the basis of geography, we will look at geographic customer segmentation. Then we talk about demographics. So I talked about age, gender, income, education, social status, how many kids you have in the family. I think this is something that everybody can relate to. Sometimes when you fill up questionnaires or when you're buying something online, if you're taking out a home insurance, for example, they will ask you these questions. What is the age? Do you own the house or are you a tenant? Is it shared ownership? They will ask you about your income. They will ask you what are your outgoing expenses. They will ask you how many dependents you have. What is your highest education? Which sector you work in? Have you seen that? Or have you experienced this particular segmentation that is done, or at least this questioning answer bits which are done when you are filling up a form online or buying a service? Has anybody come across?
Yes, a bank account, when you open a bank account.
Absolutely, yes. So if you open a bank account, you take out a home insurance, you take out a car insurance, you take out any service which is going to be paid for, through a direct debit or wherein you are expecting to receive service from the company. They want to know about you as a customer. Where do you come from? What is your background, your income, your education, so this is because they want to understand and then tailor some of these services to meet your requirements. So this kind of segmentation is called demographic. Then we have psychographic segmentation. Now, when we talk about psychographic segmentation, we basically talk about the individual's lifestyle. What is the lifestyle? What is the interest and opinion of that person. What is the personality? What are your values, beliefs, culture? That kind of segmentation, when it is done from a company's perspective, is called psychographic segmentation. And then we also look at behavioral segmentation. Behavioral segmentation will look at factors like, what kind of benefits do you seek when you purchase? What is the level or price or level to which you can purchase goods? Sometimes when you look at what is the usage of the good that you're going to do. Now, if you buy a car, sometimes when you go to the dealership, you say, I want to buy a car, they'll ask you sometimes a question or ask you to fill up a form. Is a live example that I would give you would be the example of car insurance. So when you look at taking out car insurance, they say, are you going to use the car for social benefits? Are you going to use it for social, transport to office and back, or are you going to use it for commuting purposes for both office and social reasons? The reason why they're asking this is because they want you to basically understand from your perspective, what are the reasons or behavior because of which you are going to look at taking out this particular service. And this allows them also to understand things about you as a customer, so that they can provide services which are going to be important and on time or meeting your requirements pretty much straight away. Nobody likes to waste time. For example, you go to a shop and you want to buy something, you're waiting to ask a few questions from the salesperson, but the salesperson is busy and you don't get any response. You try and find another one in the store. Again, you see somebody is busy. So what tends to happen is you would say, okay, they are not interested in my business. Then you end up politely leaving the store and you go to another store. And where you would see that the person responds to you quite quickly, comes in, asks, what are you looking at? How demonstration of this? And that is where you see you become more, let's say more tuned to giving them business, because you see that they are responsive. They are actually listening to you. There is promptness of service that the person is trying to provide. They are being prompt. They're not asking you to wait or say that, okay, I'll have somebody will look into it, and just basically not wasting your time. So some of these aspects, when we look at the bits in terms of understanding how quickly they engage with the customer, they understand your intent, what is the usage they're going to do. This part is called behavioral segmentation. So basically, segmentation of consumer is very important because companies want to provide good customer service which is going to meet your requirements, and that is why they look at segmentation. Now, one of the last things that we want to understand in this learning outcome is that why is it so important for business to provide good customer service? Why is it very important? Now, the reason we say it is very important for them to provide customer service is because it will basically, it will basically mean that the company would either get future business from you or not. It will come to that kind of a situation wherein if you do not get what is being asked for or do not get this kind of service which is required for that product, you would even decide to an extent that say, okay, I'm not going to buy this product from this company again. They are no good, bad service. They don't listen to you. So the idea there is, in order to build reputation, in order to build good word of mouth, in order to ensure that the company is able to meet the requirements, they need to have or provide good customer service. And that can be done by utilizing the 4 principles of customer service. They need to be compassionate. They need to be listening to you. They should be able to solve the problem and should be able to close the loop, which we discussed. And this is how you go about then deciding that, okay, this is a company which listens to its customers, and I would then, they are committed to providing excellent customer service. They are providing to helping the customers. They have enough resources, staff who have the adequate training, solve the problem. And that is where it is able to attract more business, get more business, because if you are happy with it, you'll talk to 10 people about it in your friend's family and you'll say, okay, no, I bought it from here. It's the best, company. You should also buy that product. So the biggest advantage the business is getting is that your word of mouth, your awareness, the positivity that you're spreading about the company is going to help them get repeat business. And that is the reason why companies today have to focus on the fact that they have to provide excellent customer service so that they are able to retain customers. Now, one of the other things that you would also look at is that why companies need to look at this concept of customer services, because, if you look at developed countries like UK, the population is 63, 64 million, or as per the last census, say between 64 and 65 million. You would see that there are so many customers the company can sell the products to. At some stage, what will happen is 33, 34 million people are in work, and these are the people who earn money and they spend money in the market. So everybody is going to, go after to get your share of business from you. Now, because the market is not expanding and the companies are going to reach out to the same customer, it is all the more important for them to look at retaining the customers they already have. That means to get repeat business from existing customers is one of the biggest things which most companies look at, because there is no growth happening as far as the market is concerned, because the market is developed. And that is one of the reasons why they look at going into what is called customer profiling, understanding the customer requirement, segmentation, and then look at going back to you with newsletters, different marketing campaigns, promotional offers to get repeat business. One example that I would put here would be if you shop at Tesco's or if you go to Sainsbury's, you normally see there are Nectar points and Tesco Club Card points that you get, isn't it? Yeah?
Yes.
So what happens is if you shop more at the outlet, what tends to happen is that you will get some voucher, which will come to you at the end of the month, say, because you did this much of spend, they'll give you some promotional vouchers, they will give you some discount voucher. So you will receive something. And the reason why they give you these is because they want you to come back to the store and buy more products from them. They want your business. And the reason why they look at these vouchers is that they have softwares in the background, which is basically capturing all the data when you buy it on the tills, that, okay, you bought eggs, you bought bread, and this is the product, egg, breads, and milk, you buy more often than other products from the store. So when you get vouchers, you get discounted vouchers on buying organic milk or, say a different brand of, egg, and they give you some discount saying 30% off on this or 10% off on this, or 5 pennies off this particular shop basket if you buy these products. And the reason why they're doing is, and the reason how they're able to do this is because they've done profiling on, studied your, transactions, the previous shops that you've done. And all this is being captured in the, from the till, when you are tilling out the products and you're paying for it, and the till receipt captures all this data. And this is then analyzed by a team in the background. That team will look at cleaning the data, maintaining the data, and then generate reports out of it to see what categories of products you're buying, how much of electronics, how much of grocery, how much of daily goods, canned products, things like that. And that is how they look at profiling you and your behavior in terms of purchase of goods from the Tesco store. So there are lots of benefits why companies look at profiling customers by segmenting customers, because they want to increase their knowledge about your behavior in terms of how you buy, how much you buy, how many times you come to the store to do the shop. And these things are noted down every time you look at, buying from the store. And this allows them to acquire new business, acquire new customers, and also introduce new products that you would be buying. A simple example is that sometimes you would see customers who buy a lot of dairy products will also get discount coupons or promotional offers for mayonnaise or products which are associated with dairy products. And the reason they see is that because you're shopping more and more about milk, pasteurized butter, or maybe cheese and other bits, they will send you offers because that will allow them to get more business from that aisle within the store. So if you buy more of, meat, or meat related products, then they will send you more vouchers so that they can increase the basket size that they are selling to you from the store. And these are some of the benefits of customer profiling and segmentation, which the companies do by studying the data that they collect when you are buying stuff from the tills. Is that okay? Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, good stuff. So what we've done is we've covered in today's session briefly about what is the importance of customer service, what is customer profiling, and what is customer segmentation, and why is customer service very important for businesses. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. So any questions on what we've discussed in today's session?
No.
Okay,
No.
good stuff.
Excuse me.
Okay, let me go around one by one just to check with everyone in terms of if they have any questions, so that we are able to discuss this and get everyone's perspective. Okay, so let me check with Samra. Samra, any questions?
Yeah, sometimes when we buy, like that happened to me when I bought fridge and the washing machine and the cooker all together from Caris,
Yes.
Caris, I think. And when my cooker broke down, when I called them, they said in the contract there is no 9% like insurance to I think to cover something like the
Yes.
damage or customers. So there is some condition in the contract when we buy some stuff from.
Agreed. Yes. So it's a good question. So I understand the situation, but what is the question that you want to ask?
So the customer service, they need to know all the condition in the contract, and they need to explain the contract like before to buy some stuff. If
Correct.
they don't explain.
Yes, that's correct. So what you have picked up is in terms of the point, like if you bought so many goods from say Currys and you had the problem with one of the product. Now, one of the things which the company needs to look at when we talk about customer service. So what are the areas that we can talk about in this example that you've taken? So one of the areas that you have taken an example of is that when you bought the product, obviously they sold these things to you, but the terms and conditions related to warranty or after sales service was maybe not properly explained in terms of what the warranty will cover. Now, this takes us back to the 4 principles, of customer service that we need to look at. And that is what companies also need to look into. So they need to be able to give you information about the product so that you are able to make a good decision when you buy something from the company, right? And the second point is, in this case, so if I look at this, they should be able to give you, information about the product in detail. That if you buy this cooker, this will have 3 months warranty, or it will have only 28-day warranty. After that, if you require warranty, you have to take out monthly warranty from us, for which you'll have to pay extra. So maybe if these things are not explained, then what has happened as a repercussion for the company is that, one, you have lost in faith on Currys to be able to provide service. Second, you're not going to go back to them probably, and even if you go back and buy something from them again, you are going to make sure and be very certain, because last time the information was not provided or not provided in detail, you're going to make certain that this time all the information is provided so that you are getting the after sales service which is required, isn't it? And in other ways, what the company also needs to look at is needs to be able to provide this information to you through a leaflet, through a warranty manual, a user manual, or maybe a receipt or terms and conditions, as we say, because this would then allow you to make a decision whether I want to buy it from here or I want to take out the additional warranty on it.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, they said global, more like
This
it's
is
very.
Agreed. So the point that you've made is very correct, is because this I can relate to the fact that one, you've captured the fact that why customer service is important for the company, because if they want to get your business again, they need to look at, making these changes and improvements. And the second is that as a customer, you have also understood that when you buy some of these things, we cannot take service for granted, because sometimes there are fine terms and conditions given, which we don't, look at reading when we are buying some of these products, and we assume that this is going to be the case, but sometimes it does not turn out to be that way. And what that means is when the product goes faulty or when you need the service, actually you don't get it. And that would mean the customer being unhappy, you as a customer, and on the company side, they're losing business.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Now, anybody else in terms of any other questions? So let me go to the next person and look at, questions. So Bogdan, any questions at your end?
No, I have no question. Thank you.
Okay, Katerina, any questions at your end? Maria, any questions at your end? Mario, any questions at your end? Nikolai, any questions at your end?
No, sir.
Okay, and Ramona, any questions at your end?
No, sir.
All right, okay, good stuff. So now what we want to be able to do is, Tibor, any questions at your end?
No, we don't.
Okay. Okay, good stuff. So now with this particular session, what we've done today is that we've covered the first unit in terms of, how businesses operate. This is the first unit that we wanted to, cover in this particular, course. And what we've done is we've covered this first unit fully. So we've gone across and covered these 6 learning outcomes. And what I would suggest is, if you look at the WhatsApp in which, I had actually provided a kind of a workbook, which is what I'll share again with you here just to show you. And this workbook is what I would suggest is that you go about filling this workbook, completing this workbook. This will give you and help you crystallize, and build your understanding of what we have discussed in these sessions, the 6 sessions that we've done, and that will help you to understand and then crystallize what we've studied, and then you thoroughly go through this workbook. So my suggestion would be, in the workbook that you will see on pages, there are going to be boxes like these, and there'll be questions. So in order to practice what you have learned, my suggestion would be to complete some of these boxes by writing in them for your records and for us, that, the questions in this workbook, which I've shared on WhatsApp, I will share it again today, so that if anybody has not received it, should be able to download it and, have it. And this would allow you to go about, covering all the questions and the topics that we've discussed with regards to this particular unit. So if I just go into today's part, which is customer service, just to show you, there are some activities on the customer service learning outcome 6. There are some questions. So how would you define customer service? Now, if I have to define customer service, we need to look at the definition of information, advice, and guidance that we receive from the person and in the output, in the sales, in the shop, about the product or the service that you're buying, would be termed as customer service. So the idea would be to try and go about going through some of these questions to understand in a bit more detail, and write your understanding down here, in this particular PDF document. So if you open this document on your phone or on your laptop or on your PC, you would see that you would be able to type into this particular document, and that would allow you to refresh some of the information that we've discussed with regards to this particular unit. Is that okay?
Excuse me, where shall we find this book or this?
So what I will do is I will put it on WhatsApp right now on the WhatsApp group, and you should be able to get it from the group, because you'll be if you click on it, you should be able to download it to your phone, tablet, PC, or Mac, whichever device you use.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
that
if
will
you
be
want,
perfect.
I can also ask this to be emailed to you on your emails.
I think so. It's okay on WhatsApp, yeah?
Whichever way you want, we can have this emailed, and also I will get it put up on WhatsApp for you now.
Okay, thank you so much.
So I'll put this on for you now on WhatsApp. Just check if everybody's got it. So we will also provide the same workbook for the next unit, which is going to be taught by Anjum, and that will be marketing principles and practice. There's a similar workbook that you will get, and that would allow you to essentially, use it for the purposes of, refreshing some of the knowledge and information that you're getting, in our discussions over these sessions. Okay, so that's great. What I'm going to do now is obviously share a copy of this recording in a couple of minutes as it is available, so that you can go through the session or pass it to colleagues or friends who have not been able to attend today. And the other thing that we're going to do is tomorrow we're going to start off with the second unit, and that will be the marketing principles and practice. And that unit is going to be taught by Mr. Anjum. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good stuff. So take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.